Welcome to Game On, I'm Dan Marshall. Here in Nanaimo, we have a World Championship caliber powerlifter. Her name is Ronda Heaslip. She has Canadian records, world records. She just finished second at the World Championships. Today she goes for a unique world record right here at the Nanaimo Athletic Club. And she got turned on to the sport in kind of a strange way.
Well, I was in the military. This was going way back to 1979, and I was a gymnast in high school and did a lot of track and field. So I had found a running partner in basic training, and we used to do 5-mile runs. And on one of those runs, I ended up stepping in a gopher hole and turning my ankle really badly. And they said, you'd be better off if you'd have broken your ankle. You've twisted it really badly. So I went on crutches, and then I went on a cane, and then the doctor said, go to the E51 drill hall on the base because they've got a lifting club there, and I want you to get them to teach you these exercises. And he gave me my homework list, and away I went. And as I got rid of the cane, they taught me how to squat and how to bench and how to deadlift. And I think my first squat was 135, and my first bench was, I worked right up to 95, and my first deadlift was somewhere around 200. So looking at what the guys were lifting, I thought, oh yeah, what I'm doing is normal for a woman. I didn't know it wasn't. I got a phone call, actually they phoned the president of the Canadian Powerlifting Union back then. It was Jim Moyer, who was a world champion as well. And I told him what I was lifting, and he said, get her to Bell River this April. She'll medal and she'll break records. So off I went. 6 months after I started lifting, I was a Canadian champion, and 2 months later I got bronze at the Worlds in Boston.
At a key powerlifting event, it's not just as easy as picking up a barbell. Rhonda does 3 separate lifts for each of her competitions.
One of the events in powerlifting is called the squat. It's the first event, and this is how it's done. You want to make sure your grip is even on the bar. You want to put the bar on your back, resting just above the rear deltoid or the rear part of your shoulder. Make sure it's well seated. Then you step out of the rack, just one step, just to clear it. And then when you're ready, your head's up, keep your chest high. You want to squat down so that the top of the knee and the center of the hip break parallel with the ground. And then step in, and that's it. This is the bench press. It's the second event in the powerlifting competition. What you need to do when you bench is keep your hips on the bench, keep your upper body steady on the bench. The bar has to come down, touch your chest. You have to wait for the judge to say press, push it off. You have to wait for the judge to say rack, and then you rack it. So I'm going to get Paul to call the press and call the rack, and then you'll see how it's done. Make sure your grip is even on the bar. I take a nice wide grip, shortens up my stroke, and allows me to use my chest the way it was designed to be used. Okay, are you ready?
Ready.
Take it out. Okay, don't forget to call it. I got it.
Press. Rack.
And that's the bench press. This is the third event in powerlifting. It's called the deadlift. So when you approach the bar, there's 2 ways to deadlift. You can either deadlift conventional with your feet here and your hands outside, or you can deadlift sumo style. When I train, I do conventional. When I compete, I switch to sumo because it makes me shorter, I get a bigger pull. One hand over, one hand under. Grab the bar, hold it tight, keep it into your shins, shoulders back, head up. Set your hips down and pull with your legs and your butt. Lock it out, wait for the judge to tell you to put it down. Put it down, and that's the deadlift.
Rhonda just keeps getting better with age. She's lifting more in her mid-50s than most people in their 20s can even dream about.
Good. Come on, Rhonda.
At the 2011 World Powerlifting Championships, in the squat, she set a Canadian record and Commonwealth record. She lifted 324.5 pounds. The second event was the bench press.
Tight. Press. Up and back, back, lock it.
Rhonda benched 220 pounds. That was world silver. The third event, the deadlift. She was going for a world gold, 357.5 pounds. That would give Rhonda an overall world silver at the event.
I was the last lifter on platform in the deadlift, and I pulled it. There was a new Canadian record. It was gold, and that was just the first world gold I've ever gotten. It was just like winning the lottery. When I saw the down signal and I turned and saw 3 white lights, I was just over the moon. That was it. I knew I had it, and I knew I was world silver. So it was an incredible experience.
Today, Rhonda's going to try and set a world record. At the World Championships, she lifted 357.5 pounds in the deadlift. Today, it's a Nanaimo theme. She's going to attempt to lift 358 pounds of Nanaimo bars, and that is a world record, and you can look it up.
Well, I know she's got a couple records, and that's just one more to add to the trophy case, so good on her.
Well, I'm just looking forward to seeing it in the Guinness Book. That's one sweet record.
For Nanaimo's Princess of Powerlifting, 2012 could be even better than 2011. For Game On ShawTV, I'm Dan Marshall.